Cry is a riskless, talentless treasure hunter who desperately wants to retire, but his friends never let him leave their side. The story begins with a red-haired kid encouraging his 5 friends to become treasure hunters when they grow up, as they will be able to visit treasure vaults and obtain many riches and glory. The 3 girls in his friend group and the cardboard boy agree to share his goal, except for one ugly-looking kid, Cry, who has his mouth wide open. The red-haired kid continues and tells everyone that if they do become treasure hunters, they will be able to become the best heroes in the world. The kids then look back and tell Cry that one day they should all visit the imperial capital, Zabrudia. This was a flashback of Cry back when he was a kid. He has grown up now and is currently walking through the streets of the imperial capital. He explains to us how becoming a treasure hunter makes someone a hero of this world. Treasure hunters travel around the world and explore ruins called treasure vaults to collect relics hidden inside, risking their lives fighting monsters known as phantoms. In return, they get rewards such as vast riches and glory. Most of the treasure hunters join clans for fortification, and the best clans in the capital are called First Steps. Cry is heading to the clan as they are currently holding interviews to recruit potential new members. In this world, a clan is a collection of parties that come together to assist one another. It's an adventurer's guild, basically. Solo hunters in this world can only go so far, and that is why it's vital to join a good party if a hunter is aiming for higher feats. Unfortunately for Cry, he has failed several times to join a proper party, and that is why he is here to take the interview. When he is waiting in line, the girl behind him asks him if he's here looking for a party as well. She apologizes to him for asking him a question out of nowhere, saying that everyone else looked intimidating. That's why she approached him. Yeah, a guy in a Susie cloak hiding his face definitely doesn't look like an intimidating creep. Anyway, the girl introduces herself as Ruta Runebeck, a hunter who just got promoted to level 3 rank. She holds out her hand, but Cry awkwardly moves his face away, avoiding the handshake, and introduces himself as well. Nobody asked, but Ruta tells Cry anyway why she came here. She struggled to clear a treasure vault called the White Wolf's Den, and that is why she wants to join a party, as that would increase her chances of clearing it. A hunter overhears their conversation and mocks Ruta for trying to take on the White Wolf's Den while only being level 3. The guy with a big smirk on his face tells her that an amateur hunter like her shouldn't even dream of joining a prestigious clan like First Steps. Ruta takes his comments seriously and challenges him to a fight to prove her worth. As they argue, Cry gets hit with a headache, and he slowly moves away. Ruta brings out her trusty knife to fight the guy, but one of the security guards there stops them from escalating this mat any further. The guard threatens to oust the 2 hunters from the interview immediately, so Ruta calms herself and withdraws her knife. With things becoming peaceful again, Cry is relieved, and it seems that he is trying to hide his face from the security guard. Minutes later, both Cry and Ruta enter the clan's building, and Ruta specifically becomes overwhelmed after seeing how many hunters are here for the interview. She notices that Cry isn't that surprised, and that makes her assume that he has taken crowded interviews like this before. Cry tells her that this is his 5th time at this interview, and she realizes that he has failed to join a clan every other time. According to Cry, skill is everything because they can quickly rise in rank and make a name for themselves, while those without talent cling to the few opportunities they get. Ruta sees that in the recruitment section, there is a hunter party in the distance who looks too flashy. Cry recognizes them as the Arc Brave Party, the strongest party in the First Steps clan. They recently managed to clear a level 7 treasure vault with only 6 members in their team. They are known as the elite of the elite, and their leader is Arc Rodden, who is glowing like a princess in the typical soap advertises. Cry tells Ruta to give her best to join their party, as her success as a hunter will be guaranteed if she is led by Arc Rodden. Sadly, there is one problem: the Arc Brave Party has never accepted a new member through these interviews, meaning that they are only here for show-off. Ruta realizes that her chances of joining this party are 0. so she looks the other way and sees that there is a deck in the back with only an empty chair at their table. The guy from before, Greg, overhears their conversation once again and comes to mock Ruda yet again for not knowing what the empty desk represents. He explains that the table belongs to a party that originally founded First Step, known as the Grievers. The Grievers were once a party of youngsters that came to this capital a few years ago who rose to fame in the capital with their dazzling talent. This party's full name is the Grieving Souls, and all of the members of this party are Cry's childhood friends, the ones we saw dreaming of becoming hunters at the very beginning of this video. Apparently, it's the first time in years they are accepting new members, and that is the only reason why hundreds of applicants have gathered here for the interview. Even the solo hunters who are against joining parties have gathered here with the only hope to join the Grieving Souls. But it doesn't seem that the Grieving Souls would be recruiting anyone since there is nobody on their desk to take the interview. A red-haired side character starts screaming all of a sudden, saying that he will become the main character. But we all know that's never going to happen. He annoys everyone there, and to shut him up, Tino, one of the solo hunters in the First Step clan, steps up and challenges him to a fight. Cry takes Ruda aside before the fight begins, sensing that something bad is about to happen. As he is about to sneak away with Ruda, Tino sees him and rushes over to him, referring to him as Master. The leader of Ark Rodden comes there and reveals that Cry is the clan master of First Steps and the leader of the Grieving Souls. Not gonna lie, I never expected this risless loser to be the greatest clan's master. Years earlier, Cry and his friends arrived at the capital to pursue their dream of becoming the greatest treasure hunter team, and according to Greg, Cry stood out the most because of his monstrous talent and founded the strongest party with his childhood friends. But Cry tells us otherwise. He takes a look back at those times several years ago, when he and his friends just made their way to the Imperial capital. His friends had monstrous talents, and they completed many treasure vaults for beginners in record speed. In one of the treasure vaults, a monster suddenly attacked Cry, but Cry's redhead friend saved him. In comparison to them, Cry was ordinary and would only get in their way. But they were kind enough to never say that Cry was weak and talentless. It didn't take Cry much time to realize that if he stayed too long with them, he would get in their way, so he made a selfless decision to leave their party. One evening, he gathered his friends and first thanked them for everything they had done for him. However, his friends didn't want him to leave. Rather, they wanted him to become their leader. According to them, Cry was great at giving speeches and basically forced him to stay in their party. And that is how, for years, he has been the leader of the Grieving Souls and the clan leader of First Steps, even though he is talentless AF. He desperately wishes to retire from being a hunter, hence the name, Let This Grieving Soul Retire. Going back to the present, both Ruda and Gray are astonished after finding out that Cry is the clan master of First Steps. The leader of Ark Brave, Ark Rodden, asks Cry why he came so late, and in reply, Cry gives the excuse that he overslept. Ark doesn't believe anything that Cry says, and according to Cry, none of the hunters of this guild ever believes him. Ark jokes around with Cry, which Tino doesn't like, so she tells Cry to kick him out of the clan. Tino is a hothead solo hunter who is an apprentice of Cry's childhood friend Liz. She keeps arguing with Ark, but he ignores her completely and asks Cry if he has any suitable candidate in mind who he wants to recruit in his clan. Although they have enough members in their clan, Cry claims that he has indeed found a suitable candidate for the Ark Brave party and tells Ark to choose them without taking an interview. Since it's the clan master's command, Ark agrees without any questions. However, his party members don't like the fact that Cry is forcing his opinion onto them. Before Cry can say who he has chosen, Tino interrupts him, confessing that she has her heart set on her and wants to join his party. Gilbert, the side character redhead from before, once again starts screaming and shouting at Cry, telling him that he should give all of them an equal chance. Cry considers giving this loser a chance and recommends him to Ark, with one condition. But first he asks him if he knows what's most important thing for a hunter. From Cry's perspective, a hunter should never lose. A weak hunter places their entire party in danger. And so Cry wants Gilbert to prove that he is strong enough to not lose. Cry even boasts, saying that he himself has never lost once in his life and becomes praised by everyone. But what everyone doesn't know is that Cry has never been in a proper fight. And that is how he has never lost before. Cry takes out one of the 10 rings from his hands and shows it to every applicant, telling them that if they manage to give the ring to the Ark Brave, he will recommend them to Ark Brave's leader, Ark Rotten. He then throws the ring at Gilbert since he asked for the opportunity first. But just as Gilbert is about to catch the ring, Tino lunges at him and smashes his head away with a kick. She then goes to grab the ring for herself, but many hunters rush towards it at the same time, causing the entire place to become chaotic. Cry mentions that his ring is a valuable relic, so whoever can get it will also get to keep it. He wishes them good luck and walks away, bidding goodbye to both Greg and Ruta. While the entire place is burning to the ground, Cry heads home as he has nothing else to do for the day. His home is actually a grand mansion and the official house of the First Steps clan. The Vice Clan Master of First Steps, Eva Renfeed, comes to him in his chambers and informs him that he has made the first page of the news because of the huge brawl that broke out today. Apparently, the recruitment interview ended with the entire venue getting blown up to bits. And luckily, there is no news of any injuries. The news ends with a statement that the Explorers Association wants Cry to take responsibility for his actions. According to Eva, Ark Rotten has already read this article and hasn't taken it seriously at all. Cry is relieved to hear that Ark is taking this too easily. But instead of taking the responsibility himself, he decides to put the venue's repair bill onto Ark's account and tells Eva to have Ark go to the Explorers Association as well in his place. Eva tries convincing Cry to go to the Explorers Association himself, but Cry refuses to do so as he doesn't want to go outside without a personal escort. He knows that if he doesn't go there, Gark, branch manager of the Explorers Association, will come to visit him personally. Before, Cry used to go out by putting on a disguise using a certain relic, but that has broken after being used too much. Eva assures Cry that there is no one in this world who will attack him if he goes alone during daylight. So Cry goes to the Explorers Association, placing his trust in Eva, and once he reaches there, he basically gets down on his knees and begs for forgiveness before the branch manager can even start scolding him. He promises Gark that he didn't mean to cause any trouble and repeatedly says sorry to him. Gark agrees to let it go this time if Cry's clan takes on a job from their association for free. The Explorers Association gets all sorts of jobs for hunters, and some of the jobs pay very little, and no hunters agree to do them, and Gark wants Cry's clan to take those jobs and do them for free. Cry quickly chooses one of them, which is a rescue mission, and decides to pass it on to Ark Rotten. When he returns to his clan building, he learns from Tino that Ark has left on a job already. Tino tries to prove to Cry that she is worthy to be his wife and shows him the ring that she ended up getting during the brawl at the venue. To reward her, Ark brings out the quest he took from the Explorers Association. But before he can even read it to her, she bolts away. Unfortunately for her, Cry has loads of op relics, and he uses one of them that can turn into a hound dog to capture her. Tino begs him to not send her on this mission alone since she is not that strong yet, implying that she wants him to be her teammate. But Cry teams her up with Greg, Ruta, and Gilbert instead, sending all of them on this dangerous mission while he enjoys every bit of it from the sidelines. That's it for the first part of this series. If you liked this video, drop a comment and hit subscribe for part 2. And as always, stay safe and take care. Bye. Haruka is a high school loner like us who finds himself transported to another world with the worst possible skills and is forced to survive solo. Deep in the forest of this magical world, a pack of mischievous goblins is minding their own business, enjoying a lively barbecue and roasting pork over an open fire. Unbeknownst to them, Haruka lurks in the shadows, hiding behind the bushes, waiting for the right moment to steal their food. However, he makes a careless mistake and accidentally steps on a branch, producing a loud snap that immediately alerts the goblins. Startled, the goblins rush toward the source of the noise, while Haruka bolts in the opposite direction. Just as they close in, he suddenly leaps into the air, and when the goblins reach the same spot, they plunge into a concealed pit. It turns out the entire setup was a trap. meticulously planned as a backup strategy to capture them. He removes his cloak and introduces himself to us, explaining that he's just a random guy who's been transported to this isekai world. He recalls the day this phenomenon happened. Going back to that day, Haruka is seen reading manga all alone in his classroom. He is a total loner with no friends and claims that it is his own decision to not hang out with his classmates, bros on pure copium. Anyway, there are many groups in his class, and amongst them, there are the group of delinquents, the girls who think too highly of themselves cause they are hot, the gym bros, the nerds, the class reps, and finally, the normies. Since Haruka is a total weeb, he doesn't deem himself to be fit into any of the groups, and that is why he chooses to be alone. At least that is what he claims. While everyone is hanging out during lunchtime, Haruka is alone, regretting ever being born into this world. Suddenly, a bright light from below illuminates the entire classroom, causing all of the students to panic. Haruka the weeb, however, is unsurprisingly calm. When he notices that the bright light is coming from what looks like a magic circle, he compares it to what looks exactly like the one in the manga he is reading. As a proud weeb, he gets excited for a second before realizing that going to another world will be quite bothersome. So, he tries to sneak out of the classroom. But no matter how hard he tries, he fails to open the door to the outside. He tries to break the door open by kicking it and then throwing a chair at it. However, nothing works, and he runs out of time to make his escape. As a last resort, he enters the ceiling through the vents and technically escapes the classroom. However, the magic circle still reaches him and transports him to a cliché, nothing but white room. Haruka expects a fat king or a beautiful princess to welcome him, but there is only a homeless-looking old man in the distance. When the old man notices Haruka, he frantically rushes towards him and asks him what he is doing here after all this time. According to the old man, Haruka's classmates already went through the welcoming procedures and have left for the isekai world. Apparently, this homeless old man is the god of this world, and he presents Haruka with a list of cheating skills to choose from. However, there is a slight problem. The skills in this list can only be taken once, and since all of Haruka's classmates have gone through the list, they have taken the op ones already, leaving Haruka to choose from only the crappy skills. After seeing that none of the skills are worth having, Haruka then takes a look at the equipment lists. He finds that in the Berserker set, every single one of them is taken except for the Villager set. There is also a pair contact lenses in this list as well. Both of them are super useless, so Haruka swipes left and looks at the martial arts set, where there is only a stick left, making him wonder how he is supposed to beat monsters of this world with just a freaking stick. He needs at least a sword or a spear, but there are none left. Well, it was his bright idea to hide inside the ceiling, which led to him being summoned much later, so he cannot blame anyone else. So, he goes back to the skills section again to select from what's left and finds that the only ones there are well-being, calisthenics, and walking. He can't believe that walking is even considered a skill and screams loudly to vent out his anger. He takes a look at the magic section and sees that unsurprisingly types of magic like healing, flame, lightning, fire, dark, charm, etc., all of them are taken. The only ones left are element boost, death, temperature weight, and packing movement, and Haruka has no idea what either of them does. There is a special skill called Company Communicator, which doesn't make sense as well because, judging by the name, the skill only seems fit for an office worker. In the title section, the only ones left are shut-ins and neats. These are all of the skills on the list, and Haruka doesn't like any of them, so he goes back to talk with the old man, demanding to know if he will even get through the first town with these shitty skills. He begs the old man to give him a better list, but there is nothing the old man can do. So as a compensation, the old man gives Haruka all of the skills left on the list and teleports him to a forest in this world. Standing in the middle of the wilderness, Haruka loses all hope. Haruka expected that the old man would at least show him some sort of mercy and send him to a town or a village. Instead, Haruka is now inside an unknown forest filled with monsters. He takes a look around and discovers a pouch on the ground in front of him. Haruka picks up the pouch, assuming that inside is the Villager set that was in the equipment list. Expecting nothing out of the ordinary, He opens up the pouch and learns that it can hold infinite items, making it more useful than any of his crappy skills. Every single item that he got from the list is stored inside of it, including a cloak, a pair of leather boots, contact lenses, a wooden stick, a ring, and a jewel. Haruka brings out the cloak and wears it, becoming happy that it suits him. He then opens the system menu to look at his stats, but the system interrupts him, telling him that he must first roll a die. Seeing this message, Haruka remembers that there was a certain rule called rolling dice in which if the user rolled 1, for example, 1 point would be allocated to his chosen stat. So, Haruka rolls the dice and hits a double M. He has no clue what M stands for and assumes that it means minus since he is getting hit with the worst luck today. In any case, he allocates all of it to his luck. The status menu then pops up, showing that all of his stats like HP, MP, power, speed, and dexterity are set at 10 points with the only exception of luck, which is set at max points. Seeing that his luck skill is off the charts, Haruka realizes that the M in the dice stood for max. He looks at his own skill and sees that he has an extra skill called Subjugate, which only a guy who isn't in a party can use. This allows the user to make monsters follow their command. Since Haruka is a true loner, he can use it. Now that the overview is done, Haruka starts walking ahead with the initial goal to find some food and make himself a place to stay. As Haruka wears the contact lenses, he learns that it allows him to appraise things. He appraises all sorts of things around him and finds a bunch of edible mushrooms nearby, since his other dimensional bag has infinite storage. He places all of them inside and then proceeds to collect water as well from the nearby river. Haruka sees that there is a cave in the distance, so he goes to explore it, knowing that there may be monsters inside. Inside his bag, Haruka finds a magic lantern and a magic tent. So he sets up camp there and uses his temperature magic to light up a campfire. Seeing that things are going pretty well, he starts to think that the leftover skills are useful as well, taking his initial statement back. Before going to sleep, Haruka checks his status menu again and finds out that his temperature skill has leveled up and he has unlocked fire magic. Wow, somehow everything is working well for the protagonist. Isn't that pretty convenient? The loner in another world wakes up in the morning, feeling relieved that no monsters attacked him. Haruka's item, the magic lantern, had a bonus effect that repelled monsters, so maybe that is why he didn't get approached by anything at night. Haruka's stomach starts to growl, so he sets up a pan over the fire to have breakfast. He cooks some cured meat with the mushrooms he collected earlier and then eats it whole. Haruka got the frying pan and the knife from the villager Aset, so he is thankful that the old man allowed him to take all of the leftover skills. Speaking of the villager Aset, Haruka wonders who this guy even is and if he was some sort of wilderness survivor. In any case, Haruka must figure out where he will go from here. He figures that the cave will work as his temporary home, so all he's got to work on now is food and security. While exploring the forest, Haruka collects some mushrooms that refill stamina and some medicinal herbs in case of an injury. Out of nowhere, Haruka's appraisal skill detects 2 goblins nearby, who should be the weakest mobs according to the norms. However, judging from their stats, they are way stronger than Haruka is. Haruka knows that he will have to fight the monsters of this forest eventually, so he decides to do it now. He infuses some of his magical energy into his trusty stick and hits the first goblin in the head. With the second goblin remaining, Haruka yoinks it away with a heat blast attack, passing his first battle with flying colors. Haruka gets filled with confidence. He brings back one of the goblin's weapons to the cave, although he deems it useless as it's quite heavy. Haruka opens the status menu and learns that he has leveled up. As a reward for leveling up, all of his stats and skills have doubled, making him realize that he can just get overpowered by bullying poor goblins in the forest. Haruka has unlocked a new ability called Magic Wrap, and on day 3, he uses it to boost his physical stats plus his defense. Haruka goes out to explore the forest again and first looks for food to eat. He has already grown sick of collecting mushrooms, so he decides to level up his stats instead and covers himself with Magic Wrap before going out on a hunt. With enhanced movement speed and physical ability, Haruka dashes through the forest at swift speed and hunts down 2 goblins behind the bushes before they know it. Haruka becomes so confident that he decides to take on 3 goblins at once. This time, he gets scared by their masculinity and so sneaks out of there, deciding to level up his stats more before taking on more than 2 enemies at once. From there on, Haruka hunts goblins every day and improves his magic at night. On day 5, Haruka becomes strong enough to defeat a goblin with 1 hit, so he focuses on decorating his base more and adds a gate to the cave. At night, when Haruka is hunting down a rabbit, his perception skill detects someone nearby. It's Haruka's classmates. Firstly, there is the delinquent group, the popular girls group, the gym bros, the nerds, and the class reps. Being the unsocial loner, Haruka doesn't want to do anything with them, but he is secretly a fan of the class rep, and that is why he takes a step forward hoping get one glance at her. But Bro stops himself as he is a big fan of solo leveling and convinces himself to stay true to his loner ways. That's it for the first part of this series. If you want to see more of Haruka's chaotic loner adventures, drop a comment and hit subscribe for part 2. And as always, stay safe and take care. Bye.